We just spent a month teaching you how to fight fair. Today, we're putting the gloves down, because if your home only knows how to handle conflict and never knows how to laugh, something's missing. Stick around, we're talking about why fun isn't frivolous, it's actually part of God's design for your family. Welcome to Bringing Hope Home. We're Bryce and Colette Schaffer, and we're on a mission to bring God's hope, healing, and practical strategies right into your living room. We're back again with another episode of Bringing Hope Home. Thanks for being with us again.
Yeah, we're so excited to be with you once again, and we're going to pivot because the last 4 weeks we've been on how to pick your battles, fight the battles in life and your family.
We need a rest from the battles.
We do. We need to rest, and so today we're pivoting kind of totally, and it's about having fun.
Yay!
Yay! Have fun with your family. You know, you think, and I again am type A, black and white, so everything is pretty serious, but it's not about being serious, right? It's about having fun. Mm-hmm. It's about the joy of the Lord is our strength, right? That's a verse out there that we all know. A joyful heart is good like a medicine. So if you need, you have some serious stuff going on, again, being joyful, and that's what we're talking about, not just having fun and not forgetting about the cares, not, shirking responsibility, but having some fun in your family. And your kids need to see that.
Well, God has a lot to say in the Word about having fun and about joy. And like you said, the joy of the Lord is our strength. Nehemiah 8. Joy is one of the fruits of the Spirit.
Oh,
and
yep.
So we are supposed to enjoy this life.
Yeah. I remember driving to church in our first church in where we used to pastor in Oklahoma. And I remember one day we were all going to church and we were having a good time, but we're, past,
at an intersection.
At an intersection with this other one. And you can't see me, but I'm going to mimic this guy. He was gripping both hands like at the 10 and the 2. And he was just serious and serious scowl on his face. And you knew he was going to church because he had a tie on and a suit jacket. And you don't do that in the middle of Oklahoma in the summer unless you're going to church on a Sunday morning. But it's like, gee, somebody needs to tell his face that he's, things are going to go right for him because he's going to see his Lord and Savior and worship with other people. But I think that's what we sometimes do in our families.
Yeah.
We really do. We kind of get too serious over the bills, over the parenting, just the stress of everybody's schedule. It just becomes another day, and we just have to get through today. And so we forget the fun. We forget to laugh. Mm-hmm. And so we're giving you permission to laugh and go find those moments in your family together.
Yeah.
That's what they're a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. So a couple of these things, we're going to have some ideas for you, and we've talked about them in different various ways going forward, but and you need to do them in a couple different ways. So like the first one is have date nights. Well, I'm not just saying date nights with you and your spouse. Those are great, and we've talked about that's how you rekindle your marriage. But how about having a date night with your kiddos, with the family nights? Mm-hmm. That rekindles the fun in the family. And if you don't like board games, well, then find something else to go do that you really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm. I remember growing up, we always went to church every Sunday. But I remember, and I think they did it a couple times, but my parents, we got up on Sunday morning and they said, we're not going to church today. We're going...
usually to the coast, wasn't it?
Well, no, they took us to this other fun. It was go-karts and all kinds of stuff for the afternoon, for the day. And... now that was abnormal because we were at church every Sunday.
You were good Christians.
My parents, served at church and we were very faithful. So I'm not saying that was every day or an excuse to miss church because we were there every week. But this was a fun, just we get to.
Hey, something different. And it's a family. It's a together. It's a connecting. Mm-hmm. You don't have to spend a lot of money, but it's about spending time in creating those memories together. And so that date night, just have a family outing a night, an experience, a hobby together. What would you like to do? Maybe it's Frisbee golf. Maybe it's, I don't know, watching a movie together. And then discussing it or whatever, getting into Legos or, something.
Yeah,
Something's out there to just have fun and enjoy it. But the minute it becomes stressful, then you have to find something else as well. Even if you have to keep doing that, that's fine. But this is meant to be not stressful, just enjoyable. I remember we were on one of our only big trips that we took that wasn't a family vacation to go see family, but a family vacation. I remember, I think it was our oldest, probably the oldest too, saying, "Geez, Dad, you're having fun." I remember, it still hurts to this day, kids. It's like, I don't have fun anywhere else. Obviously not.
No.
And that's why we're doing this podcast. It's for people like me
to say, loosen up.
Loosen up. Enjoy where they're at. I'll hate to admit this, but I really wanted to get through that early toddler stage, that baby early toddler where you couldn't rationalize with them. I just couldn't wait for it to get a little bit older, get past this. But that was the wrong way of looking at things. Now, I wanted it to slow down with the elementary and teenagers, so I wasn't there on all stages.
Yep.
But I'm just saying, if you're like that in any of these other stages, I just can't wait till this happens or this, occurs, or don't do that. Again, find the joy in the moment, in those experiences that you're having together right now.
Yep. Sometimes you have to look for it and force the fun.
Like your parents did.
Yeah, force the fun. Get down and play with your kids. Imagining playing. I think you've played more with our grandson as a toddler than I think you played with our kids too.
I did. I played with our kids. Again, when we had little ones about that age or even more, you were doing lessons.
Yeah.
I had to do
You did everything. You were Mr. Mom.
Yes, I was Mr. Mom. So I had to do the homework if Ethan had spelling words and this and that.
Yeah.
And then I had a little one and I had to do the dinners. I had to do the baths. I had to get them ready for bed. And then Mom came home.
Yeah.
So there was a lot. So was there a lot of time for playing? Probably not. But I did play with them. I remember playing and reading to them. But yeah, it's a hard thing to keep an atmosphere of fun. But I'm certainly enjoying it on this side because I don't have the responsibilities that a parent does. And so, and here's a key too, if like we were away from our parents, because, when we moved away to go to seminary and then our first place in ministry for 7 years, our kids didn't have the grandparents around very often. They came to visit us for a week at a time. So we always adopted some grandparents to go have fun with them. So I would encourage you too, for your kids to have a grandparent-like person in their life that you trust, that have the same like-minded, find somebody at church that would just love on your kids and even invite them and say, "Hey, would you be my adopted grandparent to my kids?" And I'll tell you what, most, persons of that grandparenting age would say, "Oh yeah, I can do that." Again, that's about having fun in those moments. And so here's the next thing with this. We're going to pair this with praying together. The family that prays together has more fun together. Okay. I know you're thinking, well, does that really work? Well, I think it does. And the reason it does is because if you're praying for one another, again, let's just take it into the business world. I'll tell you, if you're having a disgruntled time with a fellow employee, one of the best ways out of the funk and to help your relationship is pray for that person. Go out of your way for that person. You change your mindset when you pray.
Yeah.
And so if you're having a hard time as a family connecting,
well, I think just involving, again, like we say all the time, bringing hope home, you're incorporating God in everything you do. So it's not leaving God at church and then you're having your fun, in quotes, doing something else and not having God there, kids then compartmentalize, oh, okay, God's over here in church, but then if we have fun, it's over here and we don't talk about God. You know, but if you have this lifestyle of God is in everything and he is all about fun and he wants us to have fun, then it changes. Oh, God's fun. And the kids want to get to know God. The kids want to have that relationship.
Just having fun with the kids, having fun and inviting God in on those moments is one of the best things you can do. Because what are your kids going to remember? They're going to remember those joyful times as well. And you want to have more of those in the bank, so to speak, than you do have those stressful times.
We're going to have some ideas, but I want to say too, with the ages of kids, you know, sometimes when they're teenagers, to be spontaneous, or even when they're younger too, but that spontaneous fun. My mom talks about a memory that she remembers really well. She was a teenager, and she and her dad were, I think, laying linoleum in their house, new linoleum or something. And they were getting silly. They probably didn't have the house ventilated very good. So they're probably getting loopy a little bit. And she said it was snowing. They lived in Oregon. It didn't snow all that often. And my grandparents were young parents. But she remembers she was about 16 years old, and her dad looks at her and goes, I'll race you to the end of the block and back, and barefoot. And she's like, what? He's like, ready? And they took off running. And that's one of her core memories of just having fun. It was just silly. Just having fun out of the blue. And, you know, her mom was yelling, what are you guys doing? And, you know, but just a whim thing, having fun. Yeah. That's great. He was always, my grandpa was really good at having fun and bringing fun into whatever that they were doing. Another one that she says, and we did with our kids too, is like on a Sunday night after church, a lot of times they would go out for ice cream or something like that, and not tell them what was going to happen. And, you know, if one didn't want to go to church and stayed home, and they went out to ice cream afterwards and said, well, I would have gone if you would have told me there was ice cream. And
you gotta come and figure these things out as you go. So and so when can you incorporate God in everything? I mean, just bring God into the center of it all. But here's a few fun family ideas that you have. You know, game nights, and that changes. I mean, I remember doing the Wii U at first, where they had the bowling and the a few different events, and so we'd have a family bowling night just right there on the Wii U. You do that to board games of Chutes and Ladders when they're little. You know, those kind of things. It can be any of that. Taking walks. We always took walks. Wherever you're at, it's always a good time. Cooking together. That's sometimes a little harder if you're a type A personality like me that doesn't like to get things dirty or messy. But it's a good one. It's a good one.
Family movie nights. This is one that we have always did. Back when you would get the videos from
Blockbuster or Netflix mailed to you.
Netflix mailed to you. Before that we'd go to a video. That really ages us. Go to a video store. But and we've always had our tradition of pizza night. So pizza and movie, we make homemade pizza, and that's a tradition that the kids say we just loved, and they've all adopted it and continued the Friday night pizza night. And
it became constants in their lives. So there was Friday night pizza, and if we had a game and you got to teenagers and you couldn't do it Friday, we'd move it to Saturday night. You know, so sometime on that weekend, but we'd have Friday night pizza, and then Saturday morning we'd try to be a little more relaxed. Again, not everyone, but sometimes, and then we'd cook a special breakfast that morning as well. And that became a 12-hour kind of family time that all three of them say, sign me up for more of that. And so do those family movie nights or just nights together like that, pizza nights. Little road trips. Again, like you said, with your family, took road trips. My mom and dad, my mom loved to go find dessert places or new restaurants. That was my mom's thing. So I remember after church starving and having to travel 45 minutes to a restaurant that then you had to wait to get in. I mean, I wish you would have brought snacks, Mom. I mean, that's all I ask. But, these little road trips together to something meaningful, or maybe not, but make it meaningful. And just being together as a family, getting away. Bonfires is a good one. You and I, one that we've done, we've danced in the kitchen and our kids, oh, Mom, Dad, gross. Those kind of fun things are important.
Yeah.
Just telling stories. I mean, there's a lot of good storytellers out there, you family members. Tell stories of each other. It's just, you're impressing on your kids life and life with them, right? I mean, that's key. Life and families doesn't have to be perfect, but it should be done together. We're talking about having fun and doing this. A verse of scripture that comes to mind is Philippians 4:4, rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I say rejoice. So have fun in the Lord always. I think that's important.
No matter what you're doing, just really connecting with each other and enjoying this life. Enjoy the little moments.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that big of things to enjoy, to be silly, and just to enjoy. And I bet you all have some wonderful ideas. We'd love to hear what you do as a family. What are some fun things that you have, maybe traditions that you have loved over the years, or that your kids love to do? What are some of those things? You can drop it in the comments below. I know others would love to hear too, and just get some ideas of, things that you can do with your family. So,
right. Yeah, get a conversation going with what you guys do and spark some other families, because maybe somebody else hasn't thought of it. Again, it's just about incorporating fun, family, faith into everything that you do. You and your spouse, you're creating an environment and a culture for your kids to take forward in their lives. It's about making and building those memories.
Yeah.
So, well, we're so glad you joined us for today's fun episode, a little bit different. But we're glad you're here. So remember to like and share this episode. We would certainly appreciate it. It helps get this message and this podcast out there to others. And until next time, remember to bring hope home to your life today.
Thank you for listening to Bringing Hope Home. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to strengthen your marriage, head to schaefferministries.com to take our free marriage quiz and check out our Marriage Builders course. See you next time.